Kay borrowed $4,500 to go to Italy. She will pay this off in 3 years, making monthly payments. The interest rate is 9.5% compounded monthly. Determine the size of payments and the total interest paid. Now, we're going to have to use a little bit of guess and check, but we're also going to use formulas in Excel to kind of work through this. The first thing that we should recognize is that this is 3 years monthly payments. So there are 12 months in a year. In 3 years, that's 36 months. So when I go to my months, I need 36 of these. And instead of just typing all the numbers out, if I type 2 of them, I'm going to highlight both of them. So I just clicked on one and drag down. Now you see this little green box in the corner. If I put up the black plus sign over that box, I can click and drag, and it's going to autofill. Now I'm going to go down to 40 because you can see now it's 36. So 36 months represents my 3 years. Okay, so we're trying to figure this out. Well, let's kind of work through this in our thought process. Kay starts with $4,500. Now, I want this all to be in money, so I'm going to go ahead. I have the cell highlighted. You can see in the middle of the page, there's a dollar sign. If you click on that, it automatically turns it into money. Now, interest. How much is Kay paying on interest? Well, it's 9.5%. It's compounded monthly. So if you think about the formula for this, the compound formula would look like this. 1 plus the interest, 0.095 divided by 12, and then raised to a power, right? That would give us our total balance. But we would then want to subtract the 4,500 because the 4,500 is the principal. We don't want to know the principal. We want to know the interest. So you got to take away the 4,500 that you started with. So my interest equals, now I want to use cell references whenever possible. So I'm going to click on the 4,500 for the cell reference. Now, because we're in Excel, we can't just put parentheses. We have to use the star to imply multiplication. We want to multiply by the 1 plus 0.095 divided by 12 because it's compounded monthly and parentheses. Now, we're just finding for 1 month at a time, so I don't really have to multiply or raise it to any power because this is just for this particular month. It would just be raised to the first power. And remember, I also want to subtract the cell reference because when I subtract that 45 or the 4,500, this is going to give me just the interest for that particular month. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete this now. And if you click on that cell, you can see exactly what I typed in. Now, the new balance. Well, I had 4,500 to start, and then I added to it the interest. So I'm, again, using cell references. I have no idea what my payments are going to be. But let's pretend for right now that I make a $50 payment. Okay, and again, let's make that money. We're going to have to play guess and check with that payment here in a minute. But then for my next month, I would take the new balance and I would subtract the minimum payment equals. Now, the good thing about Excel is that we have cell references for columns B, C, and D, and the problem clearly states that they're making the same monthly payments. So this 50 is good. So I just want to go to each column where you see that green box, you put the black plus sign over it, and you double click. And you can see it's going to auto-populate all the way down to my 36 months. So I want to do that for every column. Now, let's see if $50 is enough. Nope. At 36 months, I still owe like $3,000. So it's going to have to be a lot bigger than 50. So let's change that last column to 100. And this is how you're going to have to double click on that green box to make it auto-populate. And this is now our guess and check. We need to do this until this last piece, D and F, are almost, or D and E, excuse me, are almost the same. So 100, still not high enough. Let's try 150. Okay, and again, I have to double click on the green box. Oh, no, when you see here in D40 that you have the numbers in parentheses, that means negative. I'm too high, but not by much because 39 I was still paying. So let's not go too much lower. Let's try maybe 145. Again, we need to Double click to auto populate. Oh, we're getting really close. Look, we owed 109 that last one. 145 is just a little bit too high. Let's try 144. Again, double click on the green box to make it auto populate. Oh my gosh, I'm going to call this perfect. I owed 150 that last month and I'm at 144. Now you totally could play around with the cents and make it 144.12 or 10 or something like that, but this is pretty gosh darn close. So for my thing, I'm going to say 144 for the monthly payment, right? That was our first question. And the next question was, how much are you paying in interest? Well, recall that the column C is interest. So I'm going to go to the bottom of column C, and I'm going to go to formulas, and I'm going to go up to sum. I want to sum up the entire column. So C5 all the way down to C40, because that's the entire column of interest. I'm going to click OK. So you can see my interest would be $690.15 if I borrowed $4,500 to go to Italy and I paid it off in 3 years at this interest rate. So right here are your two answers to this problem based on using Excel and cell references.